Welcome to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and welcome to my top 5 games of October 2019. I'm going to start this off with number 5, Magic Farm 3, The Ice Danger. So this is an RPG game and it's some really interesting quests, pretty fun stuff, but instead of combat as you have in typical RPGs, you actually farm. So you farm on a lake, which is kind of funny, and you try to get different flowers, then you sell them either by themselves or in a special bouquets, which gives you some sort of money bonuses. The farming system is actually really fun. Essentially, you kind of have to water the flowers, pick them, and you always have like a limited time to click, and then you can fight bugs that are going to try to attack your flowers by clicking on them. And then between the farming, you have different quests to make it more interesting and not repetitive. So you have different kind of stories, you have to go to different places, then in the meantime you can level up so you can get more money or different kind of bonuses or whatever you need. So this is a really fun game and I've had a lot of fun with it, so definitely recommend it. Next up we have number 4, MISTOVER. MISTOVER is an RPG and there's sort of like a Japanese-ish graphic, which is really fun. I gotta say here that this is mostly meant for controller. They have a keyboard-only controls for PC, which work pretty well, but it is kind of missing the mouse and keyboard controls. They are already working on it. This game came out to the full release on the 10th of October. So essentially you have like turn-based combat game. It's similar to, let's say, Urtuk or Lord of the Dead, except you have different kind of rows. So you have attacks on enemies on specified position and you can get different attacks based on what your position is. What is really interesting here is the expedition system, where essentially you move to like a special map, and then you have something called luminosity, which allows you to tell how far around yourself you can see, and then fullness, which essentially determines how long you can stay in the expedition, because if you have positive fullness then you can heal up. And it's a really nice map. It has some interesting, you can meet traps, monsters, you try to find keys to open chests. So I really like the expedition system. The combat is quite fun. I like that each character has different abilities. Sometimes they're even dependent on what kind of people you have around or next to your people. So it's a really cool game. You can check out my Let's Play for it in the description. Number 3, Dark Miasma. This game came out into the full release on 17th of October and it's a time management game with visual storytelling and deck building twists. So when it comes to combat, this is like a turn-based deck building combat where you use different cards to fight. What's interesting is that the cards do not have a specific damage. Instead, it depends on your different kind of stats. So you need to sort of level up your character. Now, where the time management of the game comes in is that you live in a town and you have a certain amount of weeks till something big happens, and you have to decide what you want to do in the meantime. And you can train yourself, increase different styles, or you can talk to people and, create friendships, which allows you to do more things. So it's a very much sort of like a storytelling kind of game. It's very nice. It also has a roguelike element where essentially if you die, and I really like this, the next character, it's going to give you like a quick retelling of what happened in the previous character, assuming that you reach some sort of like a checkpoint. And then you can start from that point on. So it's really nice. So it's not repetitive. You just move on to the next part and the next part and the next part of the story, which I think is pretty awesome. So I've had a lot of fun with this game. You can check out my Let's Play. I actually have a series on this. I think about 6 episodes. The first episode is on this channel, but then if you follow the plays, I have other episodes on my other channel. So definitely check it out. This is a really, really good game. Number 2, Devil's Deck. Now this is a very cool deck builder. So it's in early access right now, so there's going to be a lot of changes, but there are already 3 playable characters. But this deck builder is really interesting because it's using sort of like a minion mechanism. So in each combat you have like 6 positions to which you can place your minions, and after the next turn they essentially automatically attack, and you always need to kill the enemy heroes. But if the enemy has minions, you might need to fight them first. Now aside from the minion cards, you also have spells which give you some sort of benefits. Most minions usually have some sort of special power. Aside from the basic like attacking the enemy, they have something extra that makes them interesting. Also, each minion has different health. Then you have artifacts, which work kind of like relics if you played other deck builders, where essentially they give you some sort of permanent bonus or per combat bonus and stuff like that. So it's a really fun game. It has a lot of different features. It also has a really cool map where you can move into different areas, and after you spend X amount of days, which each movement costs you 1 day, you have to fight the enemy. So you can move wherever you want. You're unlimited on the map, but if it takes you too long, then you're gonna have to do some fighting. I'm really, really enjoying this one. I have a first episode on this here, and then I have a whole series with a different character on my second channel. There'll be a link for it in the description, so you should definitely check it out. Now, before we go to number 1, it's time for me to talk about my patron's choice, Tenderfoot Tactics. Now, I've played the Foreverland, which is like a free prologue that you can find on itch.io, and this is a very interesting game. So it's a turn-based combat game. Again, as you can see, I love those. And what's really interesting here is that they implemented the skills in an unusual way. So each character has different skills, but then you can sort of evolve them into different classes, and the new classes has a new set of skills. So essentially you always need to decide, am I trying to level up this particular class, or do I want to evolve into different one, because then you need to get new points to be able to spend your skills. So being on a higher class can make it difficult because you don't have abilities, but that's what makes it exciting, you know, like deciding which class you want to go. There's a lot of things that you can do to interact with the environment here. You can use water, fire, you can lower, increase terrain. There are also a lot of different combos that you can do with your classes, which is quite fun. This game is very focused on playing with initiative. You can have a lot of things that maybe allow you to slow down your enemies, which allows you to go a lot more times because the enemy can go again. So I think that's quite fun. You can check my Let's Play for it right on this channel. And now it's time for number 1, Urtuk, the Desolation. Now, this is a first access game, so it's not an early access, it's not full release, it's in first access. You can find it on itch.io. The story of Urtuk is that you need to try to find a cure for yourself, and there's a lot of combat in this game. It's a turn-based combat game. The terrain here is very exciting. Not only you get a lot of the benefits from like high and low ground, but there are also a lot of traps in the terrain that you can place. What's the most exciting thing about this game is mutations. So what you can do here is you have different characters, and as you kill enemies you unlock something called a mutation, and you can put it on your character, which gives you some sort of a special ability aside from the normal abilities that your character has, so you can get something extra cool. So and I want to talk to you about another feature in Urtuk that I think is pretty amazing, and I want to talk to you about it. So some classes have sort of like a hidden skill, so you can bonus. For example, there's a class that has a skill called Patience, and the game doesn't tell you, you have to kind of learn it. And what it means that if you don't attack an enemy on one turn, but next to an attack an enemy, you get a critical hit. So, and the game, the first time you manage to do this combo, the game will tell you like, hey, this is a special skill for this class, and you need to sort of keep doing that, and then you can unlock a skill that you can sort of play. So it's really fun that you're kind of learning about your own people throughout playing the game, like saying, yeah, this is something that you want to do with this character because it's really exciting. So I quite love that. I have an episode for this on my channel, and I'm going to be continuing the same series on my second channel, so you can check it out if you'd like. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite game of October 2019? Bye bye.